Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening for our audience from Israel. Thanks for joining us. My name is Eran Raviv, and I'm the director of Campus IL, Israel's national platform for digital learning. Campus IL offers the best online courses from the most prestigious universities and content providers in Israel, and we have recently celebrated 350,000 learners. Albert Einstein once said that education is what remains after one has forgotten everything he learned in school. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. This will be our teaser for this 20-minute session. In this next 20 minutes, we'll get to know Ruth and Inbal, two young and promising entrepreneurs who chose to accept this challenge and lead extraordinary initiatives to make a change in the way young students engage with challenging curriculums such as math and software coding. Let's start with Ruth Polachek, who is the founder and CEO of the She Codes initiative. Ruth, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Why is this so important to engage young women with coding at an early age? And how does She Codes turn this notion into reality?
Well, basically, programming is a skill, like any other skill, that takes time to learn. But what's more important is that in society, there's some prejudices and preconceived notions that are put upon women. And if women are exposed to certain things in an early age, they're more prone to continuing with it later on. So, for example, since math is taught in schools, some girls who are exposed to it at a young age aren't intimidated by studying math. Unfortunately, coding is not yet widely spread in elementary school and so forth in younger ages. And therefore, when mainly men are exposed in various specific extracurricular activities in electronics and also coding. Therefore, if you start at an early age, girls won't be intimidated when they're older to approach it. And that's basically part of what we do at She Codes. It's also true at older ages. Women who are choosing their major, whether when they're going to school and university or college, and later on in life when they're choosing a profession, they're more likely to stay away from things that are not familiar. So She Codes, we basically built a community. And our community, where we span all over Israel, we have 52 branches, including for girls, but also for young adults and in general women, also any age. We have training courses and community events, basically to put down some of the barriers that women and girls have towards studying computer programming, software engineering. And many of the participants go on and choose to study in university and continued education, and also continue in She Codes and advance in their career. And we see it in various contexts, and it's therefore important to start early, but at any age you can actually do it. And the main important thing is not to be afraid of it, and just go with the flow and work hard and study like any other field.
By the way, do you see already results?
Absolutely. We have very specific KPIs. We have a very large collaboration with Israeli Labor Ministry. And we have every year, we have close to 1,000 placements of women, software engineering, and also raises and promotions. So, and this is all with very bureaucratical. So we have proof for each of these, but it's something that we see all the time. We have thousands of women that are participating in the community, and then women who are actually learning and taking specific courses. And part of our KPIs are also women who choose to continue to do a degree in the field, but also women who start new software engineering positions. And I must say that we're focusing explicitly on software engineering. And even though we are aware there are a lot of other very wonderful jobs and positions in tech, we decided that many times women are kind of pushed aside to all of the fields that are surrounding this field, and this is actually the most needed profession, also the highest paying positions, and we see no reason why women won't increase their percent in software engineering positions, and we believe that it can be like many other fields, such as medicine and law, and basically, and also accounting didn't have any women at all a couple decades ago, and now there are over 50% of women in these professions, and we see no reason why it won't be the same as software engineering. And we believe, since this field is also growing rapidly, it's definitely possible, and we're helping to push it and to make it happen.
Thanks, Ruth. I will now turn to know Inbal Chameides, who leads the Pi Challenge initiative. Inbal, too many people just hate math. How did you come up with the idea to change that?
So when we first founded Pi Challenge, the Personalization Education Challenge, we didn't think only about math. We thought in general about how students learn today. And if you go back and try to remember your classroom when you were a student, when you were sitting in a classroom of 30, 40 students and one teacher lecturing, at least that's how it is in Israel, and I know in the US it's pretty similar. It's very hard to learn in this format because it's like a one-size-fits-all format where the assumption is every student learns in the same way, but we know that the students are different. We know they have different pace and different interests, and we know that for most students, hearing the same lecture probably won't be effective. So this leaves the students often very passive. The material is either too hard or too easy, and they're often very bored. So we wanted to challenge this. So this is why we created the Pi Challenge, the Personalization Education Challenge, where we invited a startup nation, startups, to try and think about how you can help teachers personalize the learning for each and every student according to their interests, according to their speed, according to their strengths. And in math, I think in all the subjects it's the same, but I think especially in math, there's a very big psychological effect here. There's a lot of social pressure, specifically on math. If you're good at math, you're smart. If you're not good at math, you have less of a chance to succeed in life. And there's a very big societal pressure on students to succeed in math specifically. And what actually happens is often students struggle in math, not because they don't understand the material, it's because of completely different other aspects, like pressure, like fear of tests, like fear of asking questions, like fear of numbers. So what we did in Pi Challenge, we said, when we want to see what's the best way for a student to learn, we're not only looking about their level in math. We're looking also at their motivation, their self-awareness, their growth mindset, their social skills. We're taking into consideration the whole child assumption, and then we try to personalize the learning to the student according to all these aspects.
You've definitely taken the most challenging discipline to start with. I think your proof of concept for sure will go for other disciplines as well. And our session is called Solving Using Engagement. Let's talk about engagement. Ruth, which means did you find as effective in engaging young women with learning how to code?
The main focus of our community is that it is what it is. It's a community. So all our courses and training programs are similar to our just events. It's self-learning as part of the community. So on the one hand, you feel basically like you're coming to a social event and you're meeting your friends. So it's a very kind of laid back atmosphere. And you're also given a lot of independence, and you have to work hard and do things yourself. And this brings me to the other parallel. We like to look at it as actually what actually happens in a regular tech company, because you have your own project and you have responsibility on your own specific part. And if you need basically to, you need help or you need to solve something, you're not succeeding, you have the support system. So you can look things up online and you can ask your colleagues. And then if you're not solving it yet, you have the team leader, and then you have a CTO, and you have a group leader. So that's how we built all of our activities. So on the one hand, it's kind of laid back, and you have really to have your own initiative. Even though it's through very specific curriculum, if you like, but you can also come with specific project you're interested in building. And then you're actually in an atmosphere that's similar to what happens in the tech industry. So whether you have experience in the tech industry or you don't, you have the same immersive experience. And you get experience in doing exactly that. And it's not new to you when you go to a company if you didn't have experience before. And in younger ages, it's also because it's focused on the community. And since the main problem, as I mentioned before, is on, and also Inbal related to that, is actually psychological. It's just the accepting that this is something that I can handle and I can make it happen. And our 3 values actually focus on that. Our first value is believe in yourself, because that's the main part. It's just you have to work at it. And that's the second part, which is perseverance. You have to work hard and make things happen and not not give up. And the third one is community, because this is all about community, and you're doing it and you're not alone. And you're the average of your 5 best friends. So you come to Chameides and you find 5 best friends and you become a coder just like them.
Thanks, Ruth. So Inbal, Ruth was talking about community, was talking about independence and support system. But I think that relating to your challenge, the Chameides creates an atmosphere and an environment that is very good for the young women participating. Your challenge is to do that difference within the same environment of full class, 35 students with a teacher that teaches in just one way. How do you do that? What are the means that the PyChallenge startups use to make this challenge solvable?
Yes, so I will say this is a very big challenge. When we first started 3 years ago, we were looking for existing startups to help teachers in regular classrooms personalize the learning in a scalable way, meaning that you don't have to have incredible gadgets or a lot of money or like many teachers in one classroom to personalize learning. We couldn't find any scalable methods existing, so that's why we had to create the PyChallenge, and we had 200 startups apply. We chose the top 7 out of these startups that developed these tools. And it's important to say these tools are for teachers. These tools are dedicated for a teacher to help the teacher personalize the learning. It's not trying to go directly to the student, because we understand in every learning process that the teacher is key. Even if the learning process will change, the teacher will always be key for the learning. And the way our startups, they did the incredible different solutions, I will just mention a few, but as I mentioned before, they look not only at where you are, what your level is in maths, they look also at your motivation and the people you like to learn with and your self-awareness, and then you can learn the exact same thing but in a different way. So you can learn, for example, in groups, that each group will learn in a different method. You can learn, for example, about the triangle, but one can learn in a way that helps you boost your confidence, well, because you're maybe a very strong student but you have low confidence, and then you will get an assignment to explain to someone else. Someone else can learn in a way that advances your high level of thinking, your abstract thinking. One can do it in a competitive way, in a cooperative way. So we can learn, we can tackle all these different skills that we don't usually talk about to adjust the learning to the students. And we actually have very exciting feedback. First of all, now in the Corona, the Ministry of Education turned to us for a very, very big pilot for 200, 300 schools. And in the Corona, the startups implemented the the solutions in classrooms. And we hear from teachers, they say, we can now reach every student. We understand where the student is at on a wide aspect of levels. And they're now even continue, when they went back to school, most of them want to continue using these tools. So we see that this engagement is good, not only for in the classroom, it's also good in Corona times. And the transition was easier for them than I think regular methods.
So personalization.
Yes.
Unfortunately, time flies, and we need to start concluding. We'll finish up with the identical questions of all speakers in this summit. What is the one element that will profoundly change within the next few years? Let's start with you, Ruth.
I think this might be a bit harsh, but I believe that some people find it hard to cope with, and therefore they're not accepting the current reality. But I believe that looking at the data, it seems like our situation regarding the Corona will remain the way it is now for a very long time, longer than anticipated, very likely a few years. And therefore, education is what people should focus on right now, because at the end of this, this is something that you can do now and come out of it stronger at the other end.
So you're calling for action for all the people that hear us now. Take an online course or take yourself to the next professional stage. That's
now is the time.
Great. Inbal, what do you think will be the one element that will profoundly change within the next few years?
I think in general, and the Corona is really going to speed this up, the role of the teacher is going to completely change. I think the focus in general in learning is going to shift from specific knowledge to learning how to learn, because first of all, because of the Corona, but in general, just people have to learn independently much more, and the jobs are changing so quickly, so we can't predict what we need to teach, but we know that people need to be able to learn. So the teacher is going to shift from being the source of the data, of the information, to being a coach or enabler of teaching students how to learn. So they're going to become mentors, walking the students through the learning process and learning what their learning abilities are, how to learn, how to give themselves feedback. And I think this will benefit both students and teachers working together working together and not in front of each other.
Thanks, Inbal. I'll leverage that tip and invite everyone to apply to our Telegram channel, which is called Learn How to Learn in Digital. So you can find dozens of great tips. Some of them were mentioned before by Professor Barbara Oakley. This is a great opportunity to thank you two, Ruth and Inbal, for sharing with us this very valuable information.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Have a great day or evening.
You as well.